Do you feel that Trump will see these protests and think twice about running a third term?
No.
What do you think it's for, the protests?
It's for building a movement against autocracy and against the destruction of the Constitution. In Chile, they took them 10 years to get, or is it 10 or 20? It took them 10 years at least to get their dictator out. It takes time, but we'll get him out.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? I'm kind of disappointed as a New Yorker. Like, I'm seeing around the protests, and it seems like there's a lack of diversity here today. That it's mostly people who look like you and I, and I just
It is not for black people, for people of color to get out on the street. They're at risk when they do that. If anybody's going to get arrested here, it's going to be a black person. It is not safe for them, and they don't need to participate. We need to walk in their name.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, okay. What do you think about voter ID? Do you think it's racist?
It's 100% a tactic to control the population and prevent people from voting, so that the only votes so that the gerrymandering can work, so that white voters can vote in white Christian males.
Now, I'm not even gonna jump on her. Just listen to what she actually said. Like, not all the fancy, but we're gonna break it down. We're gonna translate it. She looked at black people and said, they don't show up because we're too broke for lawyers, we're too scared of arrest, and we don't have IDs. That's not support, man. I'm gonna call that substitution. This is what you get from these liberals, man, thinking that they are savior. That's not standing with us. That's quietly deciding that they can't stand. They quietly decide that we can't stand for ourselves. And what makes it crazy is nobody around her stopped her. Because in that moment, it didn't sound offensive to them. It sounded normal. And you know what happens when you ask anybody on the left a question?
You got mom and daughter, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes,
and you
sir,
are?
Yes, sir. My name is Melissa Group.
Melissa and?
Mia Group.
Mia. We're going to start with Mia. Mia, why are you out here?
To protest and make a better democracy.
And your sign, this is a together sign, I guess.
Sir.
To explain your together sign, Mia.
So it's supposed to be about, like, we get to make a statement and they just silence us, and they don't get to do that. We have the right.
You have the right to do that. Mom, Melissa, just what does it mean for you to have your little one out here today? And how important is it for you?
Well, I have 3 girls, and so it is so important to build a better future for them. We are here to be the light, not to squash it out, and so it means everything to have my daughter with me.
Now, I'm looking at your signs. Who put it together? Whose idea was this? Tell me. This is your idea? Tell me about it. How'd you come up with this idea?
I just looked up some ideas and I just put it together.
How does it feel to be her mom?
I am so incredibly proud, and she has her own voice. She's here because she wants to. She knows it's the right thing. It just means everything that I'm raising her to be the light, to be a future for all of us.
Man, the kids. See, this is what starts falling apart, though, because now it's not just about what they're saying. It's what they can't say. You ever notice that? Strong signs, strong emotions, strong energy. But when you ask what specifically, everything turns into, just everything. That's how it works, man. Just everything. It's not conviction. You can tell that young child, beautiful child, by the way. I'm not here to demean no child in any kind of way. But you can just tell that that was borrowed language. It's like they memorized the feeling, but never understood the reason. And look, I'm not knocking passion, but passion without clarity, that's how you end up following anything. You're going to be following along with anything. And then somehow, just somehow, it gets crazier.
Did y'all see what that white granny said about black people at the No Kings rally? Watch this.
It seems like there's a lack of diversity here today. That it's mostly people who look like you and I, and I just
It is not for black people, for people of color to to get out on the street. They're at risk when they do that. If anybody's going to get arrested here, it's going to be a black person. It is not safe for them, and they don't need to participate. We need to walk in their name.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Okay.
I know that's right, Granny. She said, look here, Nate. Leave black folks alone. They do not need to be out here in these streets. She said, this is not their fight. They not the ones who put this orange motherfucker in office. It was white folks. So we need to be the ones to try to get his motherfucking ass out. She said the only thing that's going to happen if black folks come out is they're going to get their ass arrested. And we don't need that. So we going to keep on fighting the good fight because they done fought enough. Nate was shooketh. He was not expecting Granny to say that shit. Talking about some, wow, okay. Then he asked her about voter ID.
What do you think about voter ID? Do you think it's racist?
It's 100% a tactic to control the population and prevent people from voting, so that the only votes so that the gerrymandering can work, so that white voters can vote in white Christian males.
Hell yeah, it's racist. Then he had the nerve to ask her if she had a vote between Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, who would she vote for? And this is what she said.
If you had to vote for a Republican, J.D. Vance or Rubio, which one would you pick if you had to?
Yeah. I would slit my throat.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Granny said, stop playing with me, Nate. You know good and goddamn well I wouldn't vote for nan one of them motherfuckers. Go ahead and take me out. If that's my only options, then I'm going to go ahead and take myself out because you got me fucked up. She said, I'm going up a yonder. I'm going up a yonder to be with my love. Before she vote for Rubio or J.D. Vance. Not happening. I don't know who Meemaw this is, but she officially Granny. That's Nana right there. She not Meemaw no more. That's black people's Nana right there. You got allies and you got accomplices. And Granny is an accomplice. She gonna get out there in the field with black folks and put in that work. She not just gonna sit there and talk. She gonna put action to her motherfucking words. Granny said, you got the right motherfucking one today, Nate.
Now, this right here, this is the twist, right? Because now the same logic that we just heard is getting applauded. Granny's spitting facts. You know what I'm saying? She out here spitting. She taking up for black people. So now we've moved from they can't do it themselves to we do it for them to this is exactly how it should be done. You see how fast that escalated? And nobody stopped to ask, at what point did helping turn into deciding for people? Seriously. Because I mean, once you cross that line, you're not uplifting anybody. You're just rebranding control, in my opinion. And right when you think it can't get more questionable, man, it does.
You can register to vote here? I can register as Republican, right?
We do not have that.
Thank you. What's your name?
Christian with Creme 2.
Creme 2, nice to meet you. Thank you. We're here at the No Kings protest, and as you can see, there's a lot of people wearing a lot of pride flags. It's pretty gay here. I may need to take a shower.
My sign says morons are governing America.
I got a question for you. How many genders are there?
How many what?
Genders are there?
There are unlimited numbers of genders depending on how you want to define them.
Nice. Did you make that yourself? It's really cool. What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by this?
Yeah. Like, we don't want to kill anyone, right? No. So, okay. So what's the red for?
The red, anger, rage.
Anger, rage. How is that blood?
It was because there was a lot of pain.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't want to kill anyone.
No, we don't want to.
Yeah, except for that one time with Charlie Kirk, right?
Sure. They blame the immigrants, so you won't blame the billionaires.
Hear me out. Can I blame both? Say what you want. He's dressed impeccable. I love how it's all peaceful. Because we've seen stuff go bad in the past, right? I'm happy it's peaceful.
Now, hold on, because this is where it stops being confusing and starts looking intentional. You mean to tell me You got people who don't know why they're protesting, people speaking for groups they're not a part of, and now you got a situation where somebody asks to register one way and suddenly it gets weird. Wow. Even if you give them the benefit of the doubt, the hesitation alone tells you everything. Because when something is truly neutral, it doesn't get awkward when questioned. Stay simple. And what you're watching right now is a whole lot of not simple. Which is why this next perspective hits the way that it does, y'all.
Please, let me make sure I understand this. All you liberals with your No Kings protest, you want to get rid of the legally elected President of the United States, President Trump. Now, let me explain something before you shoot yourself in the foot. For all we care, you can get rid of the whole fucking federal government because they don't benefit the 20% of us that live in the rural areas. They benefit the 80% of you cocksuckers, which 50% of you work in the offices, who bleed the fucking citizens who do the work. So if you think your 3-day supply of fucking food is going to last long enough for you to do that, understand. The farms are in the rural areas. The oil wells are in the rural areas. The mining for the steel, the minerals to make this country operate, they're not in the cities either. And if you think you're going to come up against us, understand one thing. We have pew-pews, you have pew-pews, but 50% of the population who voted made a choice, and you got to fucking learn to live with it, or you're going to destroy yourself. And if you think you're going to get out of that city and come to the country, you are sadly fucking mistaken, because we're not going to tolerate it. The military is not going to make us run these fucking oil wells, these mines, and run these farms. And if you have us do it under threat of prosecution, we'll just sabotage it. So understand one thing. You may have some pew-pews in your city, but they're mostly in the hand of your fucking criminals. And when they go hungry, they're going to serve you up for dinner. Oh, by the way, if TikTok wants to block this fucking video, I think it should get 250,000 views. What do you think?
Dang, my boy. Now, you don't have to agree with everything you said, but you can't ignore the needle moving, that shift, huh? Because while one side is marching, trying to figure out what they're even marching for in the first place, the other side is just over there looking like, we working. We building. We over here sustaining. And that contrast, that's what the disconnect really shows. Not left versus right, but emotion versus direction, because energy without direction, man, it always just burns out. By the time you get here, you can already feel what this is going.
A lot of y'all may not agree with me, but those No King protests was nothing more but a TDS convention. It was a TDS networking event, okay? Everybody that literally has Trump derangement syndrome, they all met up with each other. They all walked up and down the street holding signs, and they accomplished absolutely nothing. The saddest part about it all is after all that time, energy, and resources that you all put into these protests, all of y'all woke up this morning and Donald Trump was still y'all president. And what was the point of the protest? Because at this point, it's starting to look like people are just having little obsession parades. That's actually what it's giving, right? But let's be honest. Where was all of this energy when Obama was in office and demanded us to get his health care or we would have to pay a fine, right? Where was the same energy at when Biden demanded us to get that thing in our bodies, right? Or we would lose our jobs. None of y'all had that same energy for them to, but y'all got all of this energy when it comes down to Donald Trump. Like I said before, those protests seem like a propaganda machine, right? Political networking and political photo shoots because there was no real protest, because there was no real impact. Let's make it make sense.
Yeah. So let's slow this all the way down. You had people explaining others can't participate. People who couldn't explain their own reason for being there in the first place, might I add. People praising logic that replaces black voices instead of empowering them. And moments that raise real questions about what's actually happening behind the scenes. And somehow, all of that was happening under the same banner. That's not unity. That's a room full of people standing next to each other, but not actually standing on the same thing. And once you see that, what do I always say? You cannot unsee it. Because the loudest part of all this wasn't the chanting. It was the gaps. The pauses, the contradictions, the moment where nothing lined up. That's what people are reacting to. Not the protest itself, but what it revealed. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write, "You did it for nothing." Because that's the vibes that they're giving. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.